What's up, coolers? Welcome to my new channel. If you have been following me in my previous channel, then you know who I am, what I talk about. But if you're new to this, my name is Azim and I talk about Barcelona. I talk about everything related to Barcelona, including match reviews and analysis. And in this video, I'm going to talk about currently the hot topic, which is the potential rumors going on regarding Nico Williams, and will he finally come to Barcelona? What are the realistic expectations that we should have, and how much of it is going to be of a good transfer, and how much value Nico Williams can bring to the table, and we have to realistically factor in a lot of issues. So keeping everything in mind, let's talk about it. So the way I assess a transfer is basically on three specific parameters. The first one being the profile, the second one is price, and the last one is position. So I call it the 3P of transfers. Now, how does that work? First and foremost, the profile of the player. It's not just the specifics of the player, like which position he plays in, what are his traits. Overall, as a profile, how much of it is required in the team, and does he fit in well with the team? For example, someone like Balotelli, no, we are not going to sign him even in his prime. A manager like Jose Mourinho, even if he's the greatest, he doesn't go with the sort of the way Barcelona plays football, so he will never be a Barcelona coach. So this is what basically a profiling means. Then comes the pricing part, which for us Barcelona fans is literally the most important thing out there, because we have the experience of not factoring in price and the finances properly and paying the price for it big time. And this for me is a vital thing when we are talking about any new addition, be it a free transfer, be it a high profile signing like Nico Williams. And finally, the positioning that the team requires to sort of reinforce. In this situation, we are talking about the wing position and how this specific position fits into the entire ecosystem of the team. That also needs to be factored in. So keeping all this in mind, let's talk about it. So first and foremost, the profile, which is basically a dynamic, dribbling, skillful, speedy winger who has a knack for finishing off the goals, right? So in that kind of situation, we have to also look at all the potential prospects that we have been discussing in the course of last few weeks alongside Nico Williams. We have been talking about Rafael Leao, we have been talking about Luis Diaz, we have been talking about Rashford. All these four names, including Nico Williams, have one single thing in common, or more than one thing in common. They have a similar profile. They're fast, they're dynamic, they like to cut in, they take shots, they want to score goals, and they're not just running down the wing and putting a cross in kind of a winger. We do not need that. We need that dynamism. We need someone who would actually demand two players to sort of mark them. So in that kind of a context, you can see that all these four names that we have been discussing, they have a similar kind of profile, and definitely Nico Williams has a different kind of chemistry going on with Lamine Yamal and the rest of the players that he plays against or plays alongside his Spain national in his Spain national team. So amongst the four names, if you ask me personally, I think pound for pound, I would have gone for Rafael Leao, but that's a different kind of discussion altogether. What is going to be his price tag? What are going to be the demands that he's going to make? And Nico Williams is certainly someone that we have been showing interest over the course of last almost 2 seasons now. So keeping all this in mind, it's a tick mark when we talk about the profile of the player. It fits in. A, how the player plays is basically what we need in that specific position. And B, he has a good chemistry with the rest of the teammates, which is a big bonus, especially the friendship that he has with Lamine Yamal. It's no secret, and I think that is one of the most strong forces that has been working behind this deal going through eventually. So I think profile-wise, he's a good match. But the second point is basically where all my concerns are. So the price tags that we are sort of hearing in terms of rumors, in terms of speculations, it's somewhere around 62 million for the transfer. And what we have heard from the negotiation that has happened between Bayern Munich and Nico Williams, the price, the salary range is somewhere around 20 million, which in Barcelona, I do not think is going to be a possibility, because Nico Williams is not going to make more money than Lamine Yamal. He's not going to make more money than Rafinha, Pedri, De Jong. I do not see that happening. On the same level, maybe, yes, but I do not see him earning more money than all the names that I've just mentioned, because it sort of breaks the hierarchy, and it also shows a pattern that we want to move away from. Because I have been emphasizing on the fact that the financials, the price, this should be one of the primary concerns. This should be one of the primary filters that the board and all the management involved in this transfer saga should be absolutely concerned about. Because we know about the names like Dembele, we know about the names like Griezmann, Coutinho, names that have been ringing in the back of our head for a long period of time now, and reminding us of the mistakes that we have done with doing without proper calculation and just feeling like signing players. So what I really want this board to make sure is that, yes, the profile meets the requirements, the profile fits the need that we have for this team to be reinforced for the next season. But more than the profile, more than anything else, we have to factor in that the thing that we fought against and still fighting against, that has been our biggest nemesis rival apart from Real Madrid, has been our financial woes. And in that kind of situation, I have been a sort of pro Rashford kind of a guy, because I felt if we can get him for free, and if we could sign him for a reasonable amount in terms of salary, then he would have been a great addition, keeping everything under consideration, keeping everything in mind. So this is why I felt, rather than gambling on Luis Diaz, rather than gambling on any big names, we have to make sure that our books serve us right, and we actually have the means to sign players of that magnitude and profile. Otherwise, let's not just sign for the sake of making fans happy, getting fans excited. This is something that I've been preaching since last season, that we have to absolutely move away from that kind of a mindset. Otherwise, we would be going back and we would be sort of repeating the same mistakes over and over again, and we absolutely cannot afford that anymore, any further. So the price is something that the team, the board, the management, everyone has absolutely have to do double checking, proper calculation, just keeping in mind that it cannot be a super high profile, super expensive signing, regardless what the name is, be it Nico, be it Rafael Leao, be it Luis Diaz, or whoever, because none of these names are Mbappe's, none of these names are Vinicius Junior, none of these names are Lamine Yamal, that you want to break your bank for the names like this. Yes, they are absolutely top-notch players. Arsenal wants them, Bayern Munich wants them, every club in Europe wants them. But for us, the reality is different. We cannot just go out there and splash money on names that sound fancy. We cannot do that. We have to be more sensible than that, and we have to keep in mind that we are still recovering, and Tebas is not going to let us, not gonna let cut us any slack. So keeping that in mind, the second point is the most important factor when it comes to signing a high-profile winger. Now let's go talk about the final part, which is position. Now, in terms of position, it's not just about the specific position that the player plays in, it's also the team chemistry that he is sort of blending into. And in this situation, we have to keep in mind that we are finding, or we are trying to find, an alternative for Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, not a substitution, but an alternative for these two players. Because in the last season that we have seen that Rafinha and Lamine Yamal has won us the most number of matches. Yes, Pedri was the orchestrator, he created, and many other players like the backline saved us multiple times. The backline provided us with attacking prowess, but it was eventually down to Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski in the earlier part of the season. And these three players have sort of gave us every single thing that we have won in the last season. So keeping that in mind, we need someone who is not, let's say, a potential prospect. We need someone who is an alternative to Rafinha, who is an alternative to Lamine Yamal, who can just start and provide the same kind of quality, provide the same kind of intensity and the overall flares. Let's say if you have to mark both Lamine Yamal and XYZ with your two defenders for each, that's almost 4 players out of the game, which creates more chances through the middle, and it gives more attacking options for whoever plays as a striker next season for Barcelona. So all in all, this definitely has to be a player that demands to be sort of marked by multiple defenders. So this positioning is very important, and this is probably the only positioning that Barcelona wants an alternative, not just a substitution. So this is why I think the highest number of budget is going to be allocated in this specific position, not in the striker's role yet, because I think Lewandowski is going to renew and he's eventually going to be kind of instrumental maybe. There are no further, let's say, we are not hearing any names in terms of a striker signing. So according to the board, they are actually probably prioritizing the wing position so much more, because it has provided us with all the ammunition that the team required to finish games off. And that is something that is going to be eventually a deciding factor in deciding how much money they are going to spend on this individual profile. So keeping all this in mind, A, the profile suits the bill, the kind of player that we need. B, the price is something that I'm hugely concerned about, and this is something that the board should be dealing with very smartly. I see absolutely no reason why we should be paying 20 million to Nico Williams in terms of salaries and wages. And finally, in terms of positioning, it's an alternative, it's not just a replacement. So from that perspective, we definitely need someone who can start as a starter right from day one. So he also sort of fits in into that situation. The only concern that I have regarding Nico Williams is what I've already talked about, the price. And there is one other simple thing, small thing rather, and that is the dynamics that he has with Rafinha. Because in last season, we all know that image of Nico Williams with the number 11 sort of set off a chain of reactions, and fortunately in our it worked in our favor. Rafinha got triggered, and Rafinha probably gave the best performance of his season, of his lifetime literally. So we absolutely cannot afford to, let's say, upset the chemistry that the team has built over the course of last one season. It's one of the most difficult things to achieve in a team, especially when it's a new manager, it's a new philosophy, it's season one, and you get everyone sort of in the same string. It's very difficult, and it has been achieved. So more than anything else, we have to prioritize this relationship, this bond that the team has, and we cannot introduce any kind of stimuli that sort of upsets this chemistry of the team that has given us so much this season. So look guys, I'm not here to spoil the party. I'm not here to, let's say, be a naysayer. All I'm saying is, be it Nico Williams, be it Rafael Leao, be it Luis Diaz, be it whoever it is that we eventually sign, because rest assured we are definitely going to sign a winger, we have to keep in mind that as fans we need to be smarter, as board they have to be smarter and do more calculations before signing anyone, because all the troubles that we have sort of found ourselves in and we are still fighting against, we will be probably fighting for the course of next one season as well. It's down to because of our foolishness. It was down to because of our irrational thinking and just being impulsive. We cannot afford to do that anymore. So the kind of excitement I'm seeing amongst the fans just by hearing the rumors, just by an IG story put up by Lamine Yamal, I think we need to be smarter than that, and we have to factor in a lot of other things before getting excited about a signing. And if it goes through, if it falls in our sort of if it works in our favor, then definitely it has to meet all of those requirements that I've said. It has to be a financially viable transfer, and it needs to be a transfer that sits well with the rest of the team. Only then I can be happy about whichever player we sign. So we'll just have to wait and see how this unfolds.